I don't know about you. I'm getting a tremendous amount of correspondence from people that we know who would like us to comment on the fact that there is a large vessel with the giant letters saying the word Evergreen stuck in the Suez Canal.
Blocking world trade.
Blocking
progress.
Blocking progress. And somehow a great many people who follow us and know us are eager to hear our take on this, which I think you and I have spent a lot of the last 3 days avoiding deploying a take on this ship and its progress to a point that it has made. So anyway, I think it is now time that we comment on it.
Okay, you do you, man.
I'm gonna do my best. I will say the people who have been contacting us, I'm beginning to suspect that they suffer from PDSD, post-traumatic situation disorder, in which they would like to see disasters and spectacular catastrophes analogized together ad nauseum. And
it would make for perhaps a more parsimonious world.
At least it,
just like we got, it's in that category.
It's in that yes, big things called Evergreen that have failed in an amazing way.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, there are obviously some similarities between what has happened in the Suez Canal and what took place at Evergreen State College, and some differences. You know, here we have a ship that has become wedged in a canal, whereas at the college, the institution kept getting stuck under bridges. That's, similar, but not exactly the same. I will say that if the events are, in fact, really alike, then we can make some predictions about what's coming next. We should expect to see students issue a long list of demands. Then we should expect to see them flee the ship, never to return. And we should expect to see the state of Washington infuse the ship with a large amount of cash to keep it afloat.
The state of Washington, even.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's,
if history serves.
If history repeats itself in this case, that's what you would expect.
While doing nothing, the state of Washington will infuse it with resources while doing nothing to correct its path and allow it to free the canal.
They will double down on its current path. They will, I don't know. I don't know exactly how you do that in this case, but yes, something along those lines. But I will say that the whole event really can be viewed in a couple of different ways, right? There's the classical view in which this is very bad for the world to have this ship. I mean, it seems strange that one ship can create such a tangle, but when you realize why the Suez Canal was put there and what journey it avoids, around the southern tip of Africa, in order to get from, Asia to Europe, for example, wow, one ship really creates a huge amount of trouble. And so, from that classical view, I would say, this is what happens at a canal when there's no entrance exam, right? I mean, one ship can just bog down.
That's ugly, man.
Is that bad?
I think so.
Okay. How would you rate that joke?
How would I rate it?
Yeah.
What's my scale?
3 to 17.
3 to 17. Which one is high?
17.
17 is
high.
It's
a perfectly straightforward scale.
Yeah, I'm giving that a 5.
All right. Sort of better than I thought it was. But yeah, I'll take 5, sure. Yeah. Okay, so
also very, very in keeping with the current theme of how do we analogize things to Evergreen, to invent a scale that will be meaningless outside of the context in which we are currently discussing things.
Uninterpretable. Yes. Yeah. No, that's I'm very much of the moment. That's what people say about me. No, they really don't. But okay, so that's the classical view, is that this is very bad, but it's not the only way to look at this. There's also a much more modern sort of a Silicon Valley DNC mainstream media view in which this isn't maybe so terrible. The New York Times points out that this ship had it coming, given the historical connection between shipping and slavery.
Yeah, it's
a classic New York Times point. Yeah. The ACLU pointed out that this ship has as much right to block the canal as other ships have to transit the canal, which I also thought was pretty insightful. You're giving me that.
Well, I'm just wondering if we're going to get called out for libel.
No, it's satire.
It's okay.
Okay. For those of you who are not good with satire, this is satire, which is why it is not libel.
So this is, you said this is, the traditional take is it's bad.
This
so this
is
is like,
bad.
this is the anti-bad take?
You're right. This is the maybe
This
it's
is,
not so bad.
It's anti-bad.
Oh, it's anti-bad.
It's anti-bad.
Yeah. You are intuiting my direction here.
Okay.
Not surprisingly.
Okay.
We've been married a long time, so intuit away. But all right. So Planned Parenthood points out that there's no wrong way to be a ship. Which I wonder about. I wonder if they have anyone on staff who knows anything at all about ships.
I know the answer to that.
Do you?
No, they do not. No.
All right.
No.
Yeah. And Ibram X. Kendi has argued that this is a triumph of critical maritime theory over traditional colonial meridic erratic navigation.
True dat. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
And if we extend his rubric, he didn't say this, of course, but the day-to-day transit of the canal is clearly racist, and therefore this incident can only be. You can fill in the blank at home.
Yeah.
All right. And I will say, okay, so that's the more modern take, but even I am forced to admit that this transit was mostly peaceful.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not bad.
Although,
yes,
as the clock continues to tick and it continues to be jammed up, doesn't it become less and less peaceful as it goes on? If we take
actually,
the entire,
I would say that the canal is more peaceful than it has perhaps been since, when was it built? 1869?
So this is a very, very clever sleight of hand, exactly in keeping with the kinds of satirical quotations you are now employing. You were talking about the ship being the transit being mostly peaceful, and you have swapped the argument, as I suggested, that the transit actually has become more and more bogged down the longer it sits there. And you've said, well, the canal, though.
Well,
the canal has in fact become more peaceful the longer the ship sits there.
Need I point out that you are deploying now discredited styles of logic in which one statement follows from the prior statement? You see what I'm saying?
I do, and I am not going to apologize.
You're yet.
That's not what we...
Ultimately, you will, but
we apologize here. We apologize when we are wrong and when we have wronged someone, but we do not apologize for imagined fictions over in unicorn space.
Right, unicorn space. We've now confused every VC who watches us. Yeah. All right. So, that's the situation. We've got the two views of what has happened, and then there's a question about what might be done about it. Okay?
There is.
And we're going to start. I have an idea for what to do about the...
Of course you do.
Well, of course I do. I'm a solution guy.
I know you are.
Yeah. All right. So my suggestion is that we get a ship full of cabbage and dried...
Sounds good so far. Cabbage and dried. Let's see. Let me guess. It's going to be. I was just trying to come up with another word that began with fr, but fruitcake. No, it's just fruit.
Oh, that would work.
Cabbage and dried fruit.
Fruitcake would work too.
Okay,
but cabbage and dried fruit.
Solutions. I see in large font on your computer. Cabbage and dried fruit. That's all I see though. So you're gonna have to fill it in for me.
That's all you need. You're not helping. All right. And so
I admit that I actually don't know how to help here.
It'd be obvious how that would help.
Cabbage and dried fruit.
Yes, the canal is blocked.
Cabbage? Really? Okay.
Totally.
Okay.
All right. So.
Okay. I'm with you.
You're with me, though. This is a nightmare.
No, it's good. So, I don't know. You've got more to go.
Like, yeah, I do.
I can't free you here. I can't.
That solution of mine, right, actually does suggest that this could possibly be. Now you've got the giggles.
Yeah.
I was just going to point out that at Evergreen, the failures there arguably were also the result of a lack of moral fiber. See? Connection. All right, good. Now let's move on to people who have maybe more technical expertise and would be better positioned, therefore, to suggest a more useful solution to this problem. Elon Musk has proposed tunneling under the ship. Jeez, I thought you were going to laugh at that. You're just trying to resist the giggles, aren't you? Because I think that was pretty good.
I'm No, maybe I don't get it. Like, I get, go on.
All right. Elon has a plan to solve traffic in LA, for example, by putting tunnels under the blocked streets. Anyway, I thought it was a pretty good joke.
He famously had a plan with the miners in, no, not the miners, the trapped
children,
the trapped baseball soccer team. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, his plan was actually pretty good.
Was it?
Yeah. He made a little submarine.
But it was not the one that ended up.
It wasn't necessary. They got them out. The divers got them out amazingly without harming anybody.
That's okay. I remember that differently. I thought his plan was discredited and mocked.
Oh, he was mocked. I'm not sure why exactly.
Okay.
I was sort of glad he was on the case. But all right. So we got Elon Musk's solution, tunnel under, and then, if all else fails, we could treat this disaster like COVID, do nothing useful, and eventually global warming will float the ship up and dislodge it to allow us to get it through the canal.
A rising virus floats all ships.
Something.
Yeah,
something in that neighborhood. All right. Well, we have avoided having to shut down this episode of DarkHorse Livestream over the giggles, which I fear will one day happen. But in this case, we almost had it happen, but we're still here.